the reality is what, Mzwanele, that whatever difficulties that we're facing today in terms of just being able to keep up with these rising costs, that those are not likely to go away anytime soon.
Unless our government becomes more concerted in its efforts to in fact elevate the cost of living crisis in South Africa. And I don't think it has done much except what the monetary policy has been doing in terms of increasing interest rates to try and lower demand. But people really are struggling. You know, incomes are not increasing at the same rate that your electricity tariffs are increasing, or your rates and taxes, the fuel, etc. So we also have that problem as well. You know, the economy is not doing well, so there are challenges, etc. But also, what you then also need the government to do is to really intervene in those communities that are really marginalized and those small businesses. You know, don't perhaps subsidize the electricity and maybe increase the hike from fuel levies. But also ultimately we need energy sovereignty in the country as well, you know, so that we're able to cover ourselves against what happens outside in some ways, you know, by fostering innovation in the fabric and also in the continent, but also maybe talking about alternative uses of energy in so far as, for instance, electricity is concerned, not only maybe electricity from gas transmission, etc., and talk about how we can use those efficiently and safely for communities. So we need our government to do more, and they've not been doing anything to, you know, to advise communities to alleviate the pressure on communities. You know, the rates and taxes on communities. The government has sort of like left the households to fend for themselves. The small businesses have been closing down because the government has not been coming to their rescue. This is really frustrating for many South Africans that the government is not coming up with a comprehensive package to alleviate the cost of living crisis.
Matthew, Mzwanele a number of times referring to it as the cost of living crisis. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, we do. And look, these are not easy issues that government, anybody's got a magic wand to fix. There's some things which are very difficult to fix. Some things which you can fix or should be fixing. I think to be fair to government, the major cause of increasing inflation over the past 2 years has been outside of our control. The war in Ukraine. And whenever there's some conflict in the Middle East, whether it's Iraq or whomever's bombing each other, there's always some problem. It spikes the international oil price, and because we import oil, that has a huge impact upon inflation immediately. So that's why our inflation peaked where it had been kind of relatively steady at around 4.5% for many years, where it peaked about 7.6, 7.8%. Unfortunately, we got to decrease, so it's hovering around 5.6%. We've seen a bit of an increase in the past 3 months. So not much we can do about Ukraine or the international oil price. But what we can do, what we should be doing, is what government committed to do, which is to review the fuel price taxes, which consume about a third of the fuel price. So if we can reduce that amount that goes to taxes, that gives immediate relief to commuters, to workers, businesses, the economy. It's not always easy because the state is facing a lot of pressures because of the declining state revenue and a multiplicity of challenges the state has to face. You know, whether it's paying nurses, whether it's investing in building police stations or investing in schools, etc. But that is one thing we think we do need to reduce. So I think one issue there is specifically to fix it on that front. So we'll be less dependency on these above inflation fuel price hikes. The other critical one is around ESCOM. ESCOM last year had an 18% tariff hike. This year is 12% from about earlier this week. So we have managed with government to get an debt relief package of about 253 billion rand for ESCOM. We hope that's going to help reduce ESCOM's dependency upon double-digit tariff hikes, because those are two major inflation factors which we can control to an extent. It's also critical that government also...
Matthew, apologies for interjecting there. I'll give you a chance to continue. It's 11:30. It's time for me to take the latest headlines.
Good morning, I'm Anne Musa. In the headlines, the Pretoria Magistrates Court will only hear the former National Assembly Speaker Nosiphiwe Mapisa-Nqakula's case after hearing the application of the media to be allowed to cover the court proceedings. The court is currently hearing arguments of representatives of the media. The Electoral Commission has confirmed it will file its court papers today following the controversies where parties appeal against it. The party's appeal comes after the Commission's decision to uphold the objections of MK Party leader and former President Jacob Zuma from appearing on the list of parliamentary candidates. And the US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is on her way to China for meetings with officials, including the Premier. It will be a 5-day trip, her second in less than a year. I'll have details on these and other stories at 12.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
For over 40 years, people around the world have been spinning and winning thanks to the Wheel of Fortune. Now it's your turn to take the prize as this legendary game show finally launches in South Africa weekdays 7:30 p.m. on S3, plus an omnibus Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. with rebroadcast on SABC2 9:30 a.m. Don't miss your chance to be part of history. Enter now on www.wheeloffortunesa.tv and let the wheel decide your fate. Channel your inner wordsmith on Wheel of Fortune on S3. Open up.
The city of Cairo will be divided into two when Zamalek SC confronts their modern future. Zamalek strongly believe they are the king of the city, but modern future want to display something special to conquer the Cairo derby. This is the second leg of the CAF Confederation Cup quarterfinal. Catch Zamalek SC versus Modern Future Sunday 7 April at 9 p.m. live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Also available on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Hashtag Winfuture. How to go to SABC Sport.
Conversations that you connect with and react to. SAFM.
We continue the conversation on the talking point. We're currently reflecting at the increasing cost of living and really asking, what is it that can be done to better support consumers. Joining us for this conversation is Mzwanele Mtwandi, who's an economist and academic at the Department of Economics at UNISA, and Matthew Parks, who's the acting spokesperson and parliamentary coordinator for COSATU. So Matthew, you were still speaking about what it is, what are the interventions then that can be put in place in a moment such as this?
Yeah, in a sense, so look, obviously the major external factor, not much we can do, but there's domestic things we can do to protect cushion workers, consumers' economy. So one issue is to escalate the efforts to rebuild transit. So if we can get transit to be fully operational, that protects food, which obviously is a critical item for anybody, to protect that from inflation. If we can get metro rail and the city is fully operational, there have been progress in reopening all the different lines that were closed during COVID. That helps to protect about 10 million commuters in our cities, give them a more affordable way of getting to work. It also does mean we have to have a broader discussion about how can we give more support to public transport, because it helps many people lower the cost of getting to work. So there's a broader discussion with the taxis, the buses, etc. It is critical during this difficult time that the government has done at least to do a bit more to adjust the social grant, including the social grant, to help cushion the most poor element of society through the rising cost of living. But ultimately, those are kind of addressing, putting a plaster on the wound, and those are important. You have to do it. You can't be behind, can't just pay for medicals for people who are really struggling to buy a loaf of bread. But the critical thing is to say how do we grow the economy, how do we reduce the level of unemployment, because people who do have jobs support people who are unemployed, so putting additional pressure on people who are not stretching. So we're having the two-part pension reform coming into effect on the 1st of September. That's going to give relief to some workers. But again, we need to grow the economy, we need to increase the numbers of people who are working to really address the issues. So we do hope, for example, that the government in the next budget at Parliament in November will actually expand the presidential employment program to help young people get into their market, understand and get the skills and experience necessary to find permanent work. Because we can increase social grants, we can tap on this, we can tap on that, but we've really got to address a fundamental cause of our crisis, which is unemployment.
Zonale, all these suggestions
This is oil.
that Matthew has spoken about,
Yeah, the
they
series
are
inside.
good ideas and of
They are
course
out.
low-hanging fruit, but the
They are
reality is when we look at what has been happening,
So it was
within
smoking
government,
hell.
just from a state perspective.
You are smoking like a hell.
All of these things are commitments, right? But we haven't
compression
really
wheel
seen
is fine.
progress at the scale and the pace that
fine.
we need to. In order for
Still
somebody
fine.
that is sitting in their home
Spins
today,
very
sitting
fine.
in their office today, listening to the show, to have confidence that it's going to
Doesn't have that movement.
change or improve their lives in any significant way in the next couple of months, let alone in the next year.
Spinning very fine.
I completely agree with you, Peter, because in fact,
Yeah.
we can say in the next years to come, because if you, for instance, talk about, I think South Africans have exhausted the conversation on ESCOM, from 2008 up to date, the issues of load shedding and the issues of bailout. I mean, if we could come out and talk about the minimum that the taxpayer in South Africa has to pay for ESCOM, and South Africans should continue to be in their houses and their businesses, face the challenges that is brought by ESCOM. And then, even that, and then ESCOM continues to hike way above inflation, double-digit tariff hikes on electricity. People subsidies going into households and small businesses.
Even the
This is
side
a big problem.
compression wheel is still fine.
And this is basically why the business environment has really been negative outlook, even a negative outlook in South Africa. Because it's telling us how uneasy the government is to turn around.
Here, look how dirty this wastegate is.
In the functional economy. We
The
cannot
wastegate is so dirty.
just state of our municipalities. If one has got to ask themselves, what is it that they want to maximize their revenue collection and budget for? When the roads, the pavement, the waste is not collected, the leaks, there's no electricity, there's just criminal activity happening at the municipalities, but also in the communities. But
F9Q.
are always put to pay more.
F9Q 1.9 DCI.
South Africans have had to get double tax. They've had to make the need for their own security. They've had to make need for their own energy provision.
DCI.
Whether using solar or other means. They've had to pay for medical aid, schools, etc.
Diesel, common rail.
It is actually should be frustrating for any South African,
Injectors.
for any business that operates in South Africa.
DCI.
That they actually get double tax and they
Diesel, common rail.
for what they actually get to pay for. It is actually fair.
Injectors.
And it gives no confidence in the ability of this government to
Yeah.
So, what then, perhaps for in the name of practicality,
Now I need to take
what
this shop
should
out.
we as consumers be preparing ourselves for? What should we realistically be getting ready for?
This is a very tough one. Because the consumers, of course, now have an opportunity to go and vote, and they probably should vote for a government that will perhaps come up with a comprehensive plan on how to turn things around. And actually, more honest in terms of the time frame, everything, because there's been a lot of commitment. And the government needs to be able to hold them accountable, even at a municipal level, at a ward level, etc. But consumers themselves will need to re-strategize on how they